Back in the early 1800s, there was a British explorer named Sir Richard Francis Burton. I read a biography on him called A Rage to Live by Mary Lovell. It was very interesting. I'd never known anything about him before, just other than scant information from other books. But I saw this in the library, decided to pick it up, and it was one of the most interesting books I ever read. Now, Richard Burton was he has exploits that are unparalleled to anybody else's. I love reading about explorers because we don't have too many of them anymore in these days and in this day and age. It just doesn't happen. Much of the world is known about it except for the oceans. So when you get to read stories about men like this, these are men who are walking in uncharted territories, and they get to experience things for the first time, and you get to live it with them. Well, Richard Burton, he was an amazing man. He was a spy. He's a linguist. He was a not a novelist, but he was an author of many books. But he also was the first one to publish the Kama Sutra in the English language. And he also translated 1001 Nights, or also called the Arabian Nights, into the English language. He knew 29 different languages. He knew them well. And anytime he would get ready to go into a new region, a new part of the world, he would learn their language. And he was tested on it. And he was very well versed at it. He didn't know just a few things to say. He knew the entire language. Now, here's something that was relayed to him that I think is valuable for all of us. And that is, because one of the things he did that was pretty remarkable, that he's very well known for, is he traveled to Mecca in disguise at a time when it was actually forbidden for Europeans to do so under penalty of death. If he would have been caught, he would have been tortured, probably as a spy, and sentenced to death. But he made it all the way to Mecca in disguise as a Muslim. Imagine that. At that time, even nowadays, I don't know. But nevertheless, that was pretty remarkable. But in doing that, he came across somebody who gave him some advice. And they said to him, when you're traveling through India, you may hum in a low voice, but do not whistle. The Indians see whistling as a purely European trait by which British people communicate with the devil. And you might think to yourself, that sounds absurd. Nobody communicates with the devil by whistling. I mean, if that's the case, the devil and I are pretty tight. My whistling annoys my wife. I do a lot of whistling. I got it from my dad. And in fact, it annoys me a lot. I annoy myself with my whistling. But he was told, don't whistle. You can hum a low voice, but don't whistle because the Indians will think that you're communicating with the devil. That's how they see the British. Now, that was a good tip-off for him because it would have given away who he really was. It would have given away who he really was to these people, and the jig would have been up. But it also would have been a good sign for the Indians because it would have indicated subterfuge. Now, what are signs for? I mentioned signs here, so what are they for? When you're on a journey, whether that's life or just making a trip to go to the relative's house for Christmas or Thanksgiving, you're trying to make it from point A to point Z, and signs are indicators. They're indicators. They help us to know whether a bridge is out, if there's a gas station up ahead, hotels, theme parks, restaurants, bathrooms. All these things are meant to help us along the way. They warn us. They're also comforting. They indicate how far we've gone and how far we need to go still. So signs are very important. But have you ever made it to your destination, whether you've gone to work or anywhere else, come home from a party, and you say to yourself, I don't even know how I got here. I don't remember the trip. I don't remember seeing the lights. I don't remember seeing the signs. When I was first dating my wife, I was over her parents' house till 5 a.m. talking to her. And I was on my way home, and I was going down the interstate, and I almost missed my exit. In fact, I should have missed my exit. It would have been safer for me. The fog was very heavy, and I saw my exit my exit at the last second, and I decided to take that turn. The problem was I was probably going 70, 75 miles an hour. As I took that turn to get onto the ramp, my car spun out of control, went off into the dirt in the median, and it was soft dirt. And this is a time we didn't have cell phones, so I had to dig myself out, and there was nobody to help me. There wasn't even cops around. I had to help myself out. But signs are very important. They're pretty useful. Have you ever been asleep at the switch and been caught unexpected? Have you ever been shocked by somebody or something because you weren't paying attention to the signs? In some cases, we don't have signs. And that can be tragic. That can actually be tragic. But a lot of times we do have signs, and yet we're still caught completely unawares. What I'm going to tell you is don't fall asleep at the switch. Pay attention to the signs in life. There's plenty of them. They're all over the place. There's more than what we think there are. We're just not paying attention. We get on autopilot, and we become somewhat numb to the world around us because we're just doing the same thing day in and day out. A lot of times it's not intuition that people claim that they have. It's just that they've somehow noticed the signs. When I was at work a couple years back, I worked with a man who was a family friend of ours for many years. His name is David. He's retired. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but he's retired now. And I talked to him. We used to go to lunch a lot, and I would have conversations with him. And every once in a while, we got on a rant about one of the people in my work environment, and I won't mention their name. And I would say things like, "Can you believe this is what he did? He makes me so mad. I can't believe that he acts this way. I can't believe he lies like this. I can't believe he misrepresents himself and me." And I'd have all these complaints. I'd file all these complaints away with David. And David would tell me, because he's about 9 years older than me, he's got experience and years on him that were beneficial to me. And he would say to me, "Greg," he goes, "listen, those kind of things don't bother me as much as they bother you. And the reason why is because I know what I'm dealing with. And when you know what you're dealing with, it makes things a whole lot easier." See, David paid attention to the signs. He wasn't caught off guard by the actions and by the words of this individual because they affected him too. The only thing is, he handled it a lot differently because he knew what lied ahead. He had seen the signs before and knew what was ahead. And I didn't. In fact, I would be too nice and give this person the benefit of the doubt, and people who give people the benefit of the doubt too much get taken advantage of and get caught by surprise. So that's what my point is. You need to pay attention to the signs. Signs are absolutely beneficial. Don't fall asleep. Always be aware. Keep your eyes open. Don't get caught by surprise by the people in your life. You're making a journey in your life, and you can decide what that is. I don't know for you. I can say life from birth to death is one big journey, and yes, it is. But you have other journeys in between that you're making. You don't make just one trip. You're making multiple trips to different things in your life. Pay attention to the signs. They're there. Many years ago, and I mean 1996 when I say this. In 1996, at the corner of Keysville Road and State Road 640 in Lithia, Florida, right down the road from me. In fact, my parents lived on that corner. In 1996, three 18-year-old men were killed in an automobile accident. And the reason why is because there were three men in their 20s who removed the stop sign from the corner. And so these three young men traveled into the path of an oncoming semi and killed all of them. And in the meantime, these men were sentenced to 15 years in prison who did it. They had removed 19 signs on roads east of Tampa the night before. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Do you see what that did? Now, those boys could not have known. There was no sign there. A sign would have been beneficial. It would have saved their life. They would have gotten to where they were going, and they'd still be here to talk about it. And the evil people were the ones who removed them. But you have plenty of signs in your life, and you need to wake up. You need to stay awake. Don't get caught by surprise, and take advantage of them. There's a lot of things along the way. You don't want to just get to your destination. You want to enjoy things along the way, and there's plenty of things pointing to what you can do while you're trying to get there. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if it was beneficial to you, if you enjoyed it, if you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you and your time. I hope you have a great day. It's beautiful here in Florida. It is sunny, and it is in the 50s. You just couldn't be any better. All right, I will catch you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.